You are a co-host, so you can actually enable screen sharing. If I was trying to record, well, let me just make Gloria a co-host. She's actually a co-host as well. Oh, I made you a co-host. Okay, I'll make you a host now. I started recording. Thank you, everyone. Please remind everybody. Do a final reminder to everybody. Yeah, on Meetup.
Yes.
We are live. Okay.
Yes, doing that now.
Okay. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Rashid. Thank you for joining. Let me make you a host now.
Every other day I organize.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Ìwọ ló gbọ́njú. Agbọ́gbọ́dù ọgbọ́n a máa mọ́ lọ́gbọ́gbọ́ ó sì lọ́gbọ́njú.
Welcome. Let's vibe.
Fẹsẹ̀ wọn náà tún pọ̀lọpọ̀lọ. Èèyàn kò gba gidi ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀. Ǹdàkúnjẹ ń sinmi ṣe mí jọ́lọ̀. Èmi yàtọ̀ sáwọn nǹkan kàmí sọ́tọ̀. Ọ̀jọ̀bọ̀jọ̀bọ̀. Ẹgbà lọ́kọ̀lọ́kọ̀ tó bá fọ́kọ̀. Say tonight on the club we go turn up. Everybody ready for the gbọ̀ngàn. Gbàgbé òṣì, àwa nìkan ní kòsóṣì. I no go let anyone control. Anything I want to, I go do. Gbàgbé òṣì, àwa nìkan ní kòsóṣì. I no go let anyone control. Anything I want to, I go do.
We have Ashake fans here.
Some of us are wise. Every other person you are wise. Ọlọ́gbọ́njú, ọgbọ́n, ìwọ ló gbọ́njú. Ọgbọ́n Sadiq. Agbọ́gbọ́njú, ọgbọ́n, a máa mọ́ lọ́gbọ́gbọ́, ó sì lọ́gbọ́njú.
Love is not enough, baby. Come to me, Molo.
You're welcome.
Love me or you hate
Welcome
me,
to
know
the
me.
game.
No mess with me, Mologo. NSC 250, come along, titi. Giuseppe Zanotti, in a Maserati. Hey, baby, easy. Fine boy like you, easy. You won't kiss somebody, follow sweet melody. Normally, oh, ojoojúmọ́ là ń ṣayé, oh, ah. Luckily, oh, mo lówó tí mo fẹ́ náà, ah. Me, I just want to be high, be high, be high. Me, I just want to be high, be high, be high. Me, I just want to be high, be high. I just want to be high, be high.
For this party, let's get naughty. Can't call mommy, can't call daddy. Vision blurry, words are sorry. Oh, it's my boy, The sky is falling. Wake up and jump start. I go chop you like yeah. Come be my yoga. I can get away from this thing. I love the way you got me feeling. Come on, my love, baby, girl, only me. My love, normally, luckily, me, I just want to be high, be high, be high. Me, I just want to
Thank
be
you all for
high.
joining in. Thank you for joining in. We are going to be starting
Me, I just want to
right
be
about
high.
now.
I just want to be high.
Okay, thank you all for joining in. I hope we enjoyed my little DJing before we go right into the day. So once again, I see that some people have joined in and some are still trying to join in. So for others join in, please, while we're here, let's do a bit of introduction, a quick introduction. So tell us your name and where you're joining from in the chat box. Tell us your name and tell us where you're joining from. So I'm Itholu, I'm joining from Osun State, Nigeria. So I also want to know where you're joining from. So tell us in the comment section. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. Let me know where you're joining from. Welcome. For everyone joining in, you're welcome. Welcome to Learntor Free Tech Webinar. You're welcome. So I'm not seeing messages. So okay. Gloria says she's joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, Gloria. Thank you for joining us today. I want to see more. Chinoye is joining from, okay, let me get that. Okay, Chinoye is joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, Chinoye. Thank you for joining in. So please, Bola, Isaac, Everest, Chioma, Rashid, Terry, Joy, I want to know where you're joining us from. So please, Terrence is joining from the United Kingdom. It's so good to have you here today. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for joining in. I want to see more. Everest from the UK, awesome. Awesome. Chioma, Lagos, Nigeria, awesome. Thank you for joining in today. You're welcome. All right, so it's 6:05 and without wasting any more of our time, we're going to get started as soon as possible. So we're going to get started now. So I see some people are still joining in. So you can also share the meeting link with your network. We're here to learn today. Okay, so let's go right into it. Let's get right into it. So today we have Gloria here today that should be taking us through the session, ETL with Power Query. I know most of us that are here today are either familiar, with the subject matter and we want to learn more, or we just, want to learn more on how to extract, transform, and load with Power Query. And of course, Gloria is here to help us with that. All right, so I believe that we all can see my screen. I believe that we all can see my screen. Yeah, okay, so welcome to Learntor Free Tech Webinar. Today is the 30th of July, 2023. And it's a pleasure to have each and every one of us here tonight. Okay, so today, like I said, we'll be talking about ETL with Power Query. And we have our facilitator with us here today, Gloria Ibeakoma. I hope I'm really pronouncing that right. We have Gloria here with us, taking us through the session. Thank you so much for doing this with us, Ma. So she's a data analyst and a Scrum Master, a trainer, and a Microsoft certified trainer also. And we also have our amiable host, Mr. George-Igbafe, the founder of Learntor. So, this is one of the ways we give back to the community. Learntor is passionate about developing the next generation of African tech talent. And this is one of the ways through which we actualize that dream. This is one of the ways through which we actualize that dream. All right, so today we'll be talking about ETL with Power Query, how to extract, transform, and load with Power Query. So next, we have some housekeeping rules. I like to call it housekeeping rules because these are basic rules that are guiding our session today. These are rules that will be guiding our session today. So first off is, if you're on this call right now, kindly mute your mic to avoid distracting others. So we don't want distractions, to get the most out of today's session, kindly mute your mic. So if you have any questions, you're free to ask during the question and answer session. So at the end of the training, there will be a Q&A session. So all your questions, all your doubts, everything you need clarity on will be answered by our facilitator. So just be patient, be calm. During the Q&A session, you're going to get answers to all your questions. Lastly, please avoid distractions. Please, I know some of us are trying to get one or two things going, try to do one or two things, and at the same time, you want to be in the training. I understand that, but try as much as possible to pay attention. You're here to get value, and that should be what you should get at the end of today's session. Thank you so much. I implore us to follow the rules and enjoy the session. All right, so let's meet our facilitator for today, our trainer, Gloria. So Gloria is an experienced data analyst, passionate about helping businesses thrive and succeed. She's a professional Scrum Master, Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate, and Microsoft Certified Trainer with expertise in Power BI, SQL, and other administrative tasks. She has proven ability to turn complex data sets into actionable insight, skilled in data visualization, analysis, and reporting, with the ability to create interactive dashboards and reports that provide insights and aid in decision-making. Is proficient in SQL for data extraction and manipulation, as well as good administrative skills such as project management, team coordination, and Scrum methodology. She has a strong analytical and problem-solving skills with a focus on delivering results and driving business success. She's also passionate about using her skills to impact people and businesses and make a difference in their lives. So, who better to take such this session with us today? So we can see that she is an expert when it comes to data analytics, and she's going to be taking us through tonight's session, ETL with Power Query. So let's meet our founder and our host, Mr. George-Igbafe. Mr. George-Igbafe is an award-winning tech evangelist, agile coach with impeccable analytical skills, proficient in data analytics, Agile, Scrum, Kanban, business analysis, project management, and digital marketing. She's the founder of Learntor, African tech doctor committed to develop 10,000 tech talents by 2025. So far, we have digitally upskilled and reskilled over 2,380 Nigerian, and 75% are women, with strategic partnership with Scrum.org USA and Taskfield Europe. She's a lifelong learner and the beneficiary of Tony Elumelu Foundation, W initiative by Access Bank, Seed Start by European Union, and Startup Wise Guys, Startup Europe. She was nominated to represent the African Development Bank in Japanese bilateral panel discussion on entrepreneurship. She's the mother, grandmother, and wife, driven by these words: true greatness is not in being great, but in the ability to make others great. So one thing about Mercy is she's always looking out for rooms to impact, always looking out for rooms to impact. And this is one of the ways through which that happens. So guys, once again, thank you all for joining in. So on that note, I don't know if Gloria, please, are you ready for us? Because we are ready for. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fair. Good evening, greetings from my end to everyone on this platform from wherever you are joining us. So great and nice to be here. Ife, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay. Good evening.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm so excited to be here, and it will not be proper for me to continue without actually giving kudos to Mercy. A few years back, I was just tired about everything, and I found Mercy on television, and I was just hooked. I was like, I want to meet this person, and I went through that training, and here am I today. And I can't count my success stories without calling Mercy. Mercy is always giving. Mercy is always looking for ways to impact. Thank you, Mercy, and God bless you for all that you are doing for humanity. Okay, my name is Gloria, and today I'll be talking about ETL in Power Query. ETL in Power Query. Let me just share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen, Ife? Kindly confirm.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so that's what we'll be looking at today. ETL in Power Query. Okay, I'll start by using this word. Data is like garbage. You better know what you are going to do with it before you collect it. Data is like garbage, so you better know what you are going to do with it before you collect it. And that's by Mark Twain. What it simply means, what Power Query simply means in a layman's language, in my own language, I just call Power Query the kitchen of Power BI. The kitchen of Power BI. And Power BI, is a business intelligence tool that has been created by Microsoft, and for us to be able to extract data from different sources, analyze those data, and give an informed decision about those data sets. So data is like garbage. You better know what you are going to do with it before you collect it. So before you get a data set, you must have questions that you intend to answer. So we're already familiar with the phrase that says garbage in, garbage out. That phrase simply conveys that incorrect or poor data quality will produce faulty and bad outputs. And that is why ETL is very, very important for us as data analysts. ETL is very, very important if you want to be a data analyst. So today, we'll quickly look at the few of this. What exactly is Power Query? What is ETL? What's the need for ETL? What are data sources and data transformation, and a few conclusions. So Power BI, like I've also said before, is a comprehensive business intelligence platform that allows users to visualize. First of all, you extract the data, then you visualize and analyze that data, and the end point is to give an informed decision about your data set. Now let's look at Power Query. I'm trying to define all this things before we get our hands dirty with our data sets. Power Query is the data transformation and data preparation engine. It is simply known as the kitchen of Power BI. It's simply you going to the market, getting things, you intend to prepare something, and you want to clean that data, or you get your fish, like, and you want to take out the gills. So you are actually in the kitchen. What you are able to do with your data sets will affect, will affect what your output. If you don't know what to clean, how to clean your data sets, then you already have a big problem in your hands. So Power Query comes with a graphical, interface where you can get data. The beauty of Power Query is that you have over 200 data connector sources. So you can connect to over 200 data sets, different data sets using Power Query. So it's a beautiful tool to work with. What exactly is ETL? ETL is that acronym which stands for extract, transform, and load. Of course, you're not going to work with any data set if you don't extract that data set. So as an analyst, you've been given a data set. So by the time you plug it into your Power BI, the first thing you do is to extract that data. We don't just load the data set and begin to work with it. The ideal thing to do is to take a second look, and that's why you are doing ETL. Except you're working with a structured data, a data that has been structured. That's when you don't have any manipulations to do. But when you collect your data set, when you extract your data set, it's good to look at it. That's the ideal thing. You transform that data set before you load the data set and begin to work with it. So I've explained this. Extraction is the first phase where you transform the data from the source that you have. Now let's quickly look at extract. Data is extracted and imported into Power BI from various sources. I've actually mentioned that as at now, we have over 200 connectors. And when you get to your Power BI, you'll be seeing flat files, web pages, databases, media platform, enterprise applications that you can use for your data sets. The next, after you have extracted your data, is to transform your data. What it simply means is you are looking at that data set. You are cleaning that data set. At the moment, we have over 350 pre-built transformation buttons in Power Query. So it's not something it's something you have to get your hands dirty, and you keep learning, and you keep, the more you practice, you get better at it. The 3 steps of the transformation that we'll do is, first, you have to clean the data, then you integrate the data, and you ensure the enrichment of the data. The cleaning of the data simply means, you have to filter the rows, you look at it, you split column there, there's what we call the data type. If you need to change the data type, you will do all of that in this kitchen of Power BI. Then you integrate the data by adding lookups, table, aggregating, and you enrich that data by, creating what we call calculated column, or the DAS, using your DAS function. We also have transformation operations in the Power Query. This is where you check for missing or duplicates. You remove and keep rows and columns. You split columns. You can do grouping. You could change the data type. You could merge and append queries. You could validate to ensure data quality. You look at the column, what we call the data, the column profile, the column quality, and all of that. So this is just what we do in the Power Query. Once you are done with that extraction and transformation, the next stage is to load your data and begin to work. This is the final stage where the transformed data is sent to the staging area or your data lake, as the case may be. Why do we really need ETL? ETL helps us to consolidate data from multiple databases into a single repository. So you could have a data set from Excel, from CXV, from your access points. You could have your data set also from your SQL, from the web. We'll try a bit of all of that today. You provide a single source of truth. So you bring all these data sets and work with it and ensure that it is consistent and up to date. So let's quickly look at the benefits of ETL. One, we have the data mapping where you simplify integration, migration, and get those data sets together. We have data processing, we have data quality and data governance, which simply talks about the usability and availability of that data set. So we talked about this. I think we should just get our hands dirty a bit. So I'll just try a demo session to show us what we Now, before we begin to work, of course, you would have installed your Power BI desktop. So this is my Power BI desktop. Please confirm you can see it. Can you see it before I proceed?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay. So this is what the Power BI desktop is like. So if you need to work with it, you can get it from your Google Play Store or from your Microsoft Store. So once you come in here, this is the first interface that you will see. So the first thing we need to do is we need to get data, because data is what we would actually work on. So you could either come here to get your data sets, or there's another icon at the back, whichever one works for you, fine. Now, this was what I was actually talking about, that you could get data set from Power BI can connect to over 200 data sources. So Power BI had actually classified them into file, database, the Microsoft Fabric now, Power Platform, Azure, online services, and others. So if you click on the file, you will see the data sets that are on the file. So we have the Excel, text CXV, your folder, your JSON file, your PDF, and so on. And on your databases, you have SQL, you have your Access database, your Oracle, IBM, your PostgreSQL, your SAP HANA database, and a lot. The list is much. So whatever way the data has been stored, you can work with it. We have a Power Platform, so you could have your Power BI data flow, your Dataverse, your data, your common data service. We also have the Azure. You have the Azure SQL database, Azure Cosmos, Azure Databricks, and all of that. You could also get your data set from online services. And these are a few of the online services: Salesforce Object, Dynamic, the NAV, and a lot, and others. Today we'll just try a hands-on few of them and see how it works. So let's quickly get, let's get a text CSV. Before you start working, you must know how your data set has been saved. You must know, if you are looking for an Excel file and you impute text CSV, you would not get that data. So you must ensure how that data set is saved. Once you have that data set, all you need to do is just, once you click, it's going to open all. I clicked on text CXV, and these are my text CXV file. So you just click open. Now, this is the ideal thing to do. Once you have clicked on the data set, it's going to bring this interface for you. Load, transform, or cancel. You don't just load that data set. The ideal thing to do when you click, when you load it, to just load it into your Power BI desktop and you begin to work. But you may get there and find out that you need to do 1 or 2 transformations. So the ideal thing to do is to look at that data set by clicking what? The transform data. Once you have clicked the transform data, it brings you into the Power Query, which is actually our topic, into the kitchen of the Power BI data sets. It gives you that data set to actually look at it, take a second look at that data set. So this is my text CSV file. So you have to now look at those data sets. There are things we call data types, and you can see that data types here on this little icon, or you can right click on this little icon where we have ABC alphabets here. So this is showing us that what is actually a text data. So on these are the different data sets, data types rather, place that we have: decimal, fixed number, whole number, percentages, date and time, dates, duration, binary, and all of that. So before you begin to work as a data analyst, you must look at also your naming conventions. What it simply means, you have to go through the different columns and ensure that that is the name you want to go with before you now load your data sets into your Power BI. I'm going to go get another data set. Right now, let me get an Excel data set. Let me bring in this data set and let's do just a few transformations for 10, 15 minutes and we would be. So once you have hit that button, it brings this navigator pane for you to see. Sometimes you'll be given a data set that contains so many data. So you have to pick the one you intend to work with. They may give you a file or a data set that have maybe 4 or 5 this, and all you need to work with that maybe just 2 or 3 of those table there. So you must ensure that that's what you want to work with. Now let's take a very good look at these data sets. At the top here, I'm having sales for 2018. 01, I'm having column 1, column 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm having some null values. Look at the data set properly. This is how our data sets most times will come. They're looking quite dirty, so you need to make headway with this data. Now, if you take a look at this data set, it suggests to us that this would be a sales data. So we're having sales for 2018, 0101 to 0102. So this looks more like a daily data set of the sales team. Now, for us to make sense of it, we're also looking at the other columns. We're seeing north, east, south, west. We're seeing some figures. The way it is, we're unable to get a true picture of what this data set is. So that is the essence why we need to do our ETL. We have extracted. We are now at the stage of transforming the data sets. That transformation is here. Where we are now is called the Power Query Editor. And remember, our topic is ETL with Power Query. So we are now in the Power Query. We are now in the kitchen of the Power BI. So we need to do that cleaning that we talked about. There are a few things that we could do from here. Let's quickly, okay, let's add a column. When you click add column, I told you that we have over 350 pre-built transformations in Power BI. So these are some of them. You can see add column. So I've clicked on add column. I have column from example, custom column, invoke a custom function and all of that. So all these are the transformations that we are talking about. I want to add another column, but I'm saying from just this selection, from where I have just the sales person. So now Power BI is going to ask question. I want column from example. So you must provide an example of what you intend Power BI to do. Because I've clicked on that column, so it's highlighting that column for me. You could see that it has duplicated this column on this side of the Power BI. So we click OK. So I'm having the same data sets that I have here on this side, but I intend to clean this data sets because on this place, I'm having sales and I'm also having salesperson. I'm having the date of the salesperson, and that's what I have here. Remember I said on this column where we're on trim and clean, the other file we brought in, these are the places where you could locate your data sets. No, now once ABC 1, 2, 3 is giving us, you could check your data type from all of this. Now, since I've duplicated this on this side, I need to do that cleaning here. So I have date. I'm going to change this. All I want here is the date. So once I click this date, these are data types. So this is the date. It has brought in the dates, but I have error on the other side. Why? Because there are names there. So it's telling me, well, you have null value and you have errors on it. I can't leave this data set like this. So the next thing for me to do, there's something, but when you right click on that place, you will see replace errors. These are transformations that we can do with our Power BI when you right click, and you can also get it from the ribbon, the buttons at the top there. So I intend to replace these errors. So Power BI will ask you a question. What do you intend that error? What do you want to replace it with? I want to replace it with null. So if I okay, ensure that the null you have is written the same way so that it will be our transformation. You could see that all the errors have been replaced to null. So I have my dates, which is what I was looking for. Then I can also say where I have that null, please fill down, just put the date because that's what is there. So this is how we do that transformation. Then you look at this data set, look at column 1, column 2, column 3. I talked about the naming convention a while ago. If you leave this data set and load it into your Power BI desktop and begin to work, when you're doing your visualization, what you'll be having is column 1, column 2, and you'll not be able to pass the message across to your stakeholders. Assuming you are doing this visualization to, you want to present. So they will start asking you questions. What exactly is column 1? What is column 2? That's the whole essence why we need to do this ETL. So if we look at this place, let's take out, here is meant to be salesperson, and we're having James, Tim, Mark, Jane, and Total. So Total is not the name of a person. So if you right click on this little button here, all the information you have on that column will actually show. So I'm going to deselect null. I don't want this null to appear. So it has taken the null away, and I also don't want the total to appear. Okay, let me also do here. We're taking out the null, and when we hit OK, you can see that our data set is getting a little bit clean. All the null, we can't find them again. Power BI is an intelligent business tool, so it has taken out that null for us. And on this side, okay, let me take out the total. Total is not a name. I only want the name of the person to be there. So it has taken that total away from there. So we only have the name. Then also we could also take from here, let's take out the knots. This is the cleaning that we're talking about. In Power BI, there is a, I want to hide this button. There's what we call can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, yes, we can now.
Oh, okay, sorry. So in Power BI, I spoke about our naming convention, and we can see that we have column 1, column 2, and all of that. So that's not a good thing to load into our on the desktop. Right now, we're going to come to this place. These are transformations that we could do. A lot, there are really a lot. You could choose column, remove column, keep rows, and all of that. But right now, what I intend to do is use my first row as headers. What's happening? Okay. So you can see that once you click that first row as headers, it has taken away the column. No, it didn't do that. It's actually meant to take away the. Yeah. So use first row, it has promoted the header. So we have salesperson, north, east, south, west, and date. So I'm going to, I spoke about your naming convention. I don't want this to be 1/1/2018. I'm going to change this to transaction date. So that when I'm doing the visualization, it will, you know, your data visualization will look good. Okay, so let's take out the no. Okay. Also, we're going to take out the not from it. Now you could see that our data set is looking cleaner than when we brought it in. Let's take out total. Like we mentioned, it's not the name of a person. So this is what we have now. So we are having salesperson, north, east, south, west, and the transaction dates. And remember, I said these are the places where we check for data types. So this little icon by the side of the column, so you could see that the data type, we have decimal, fixed numbers, and all of that. So this is where we look out for that. Now, looking at this data set, it's looking cleaner than when we got it at first. Then we could other transformation that we could do. We could pivot these columns. And so we had actually just merged these columns. So north, east, south, and west, we can change this to region. It actually speaks to the region where the sales people are. And we could change this to amounts. Now, from that data set that is looking very dirty when we got it in, we had done a few transformation, just a few, to get to this point. I don't know if I'm clear or I'm too fast. Hello?
You're clear, ma.
Yeah, still connected, ma'am.
Oh, okay, okay. So these are the ways we do the transformation in Power BI. A few of the ways. So if you look at these names, you will see that we are having, because we have done a little bit of cleaning, you can see, okay, that we're having James, Tim, we're having Mark and Jane. But if you look, there's actually one that has the same name, but a different, maybe a reference number. So even on this column, you could actually split the column, you could remove rows. There are a lot of transformation that you can do with the Power Query editor. So like I've talked about the data type, I've talked about replaced value, I've talked about field, we have done a little bit of pivots, columns, where you could split the column, assuming you have date and time, or like this, which we have, we can split it. Oh, we just want the name, we don't want the reference, and a lot. So there are things you can actually play around with until you get a hang of it. So these are the ways we clean data sets. And if you're on the query editor, if you're in this kitchen where we are at the moment, you can also be there and get in another data set. So what you need to do, you don't need to close this interface. You just stay here and click on new search. Assuming you want to get a data set from the web. Let me show you how we get a data set from the web. I think I have a URL copy here. So once you have clicked the web, Power BI is going to ask you, please, can I have the URL for that website that you want to get the data set from? And once you do that, you click OK. It's going to make a connection with that data that you intend to bring in. So you just give it a few seconds or minutes, and it will make a connection with it. Even if it's a data, you're working with a database, maybe something like SQL, it will ask you to supply some few informations, and it will make a connection with that data set. I hope this is not my network. Okay, this was what I was actually talking about. So this is a data set that we've collected from the web. Assuming you're asked to, it's not every time you work with everything. You may just need to work with maybe table 2, 5, and all of that. So you need to know which one you are working with. So it gives you a preview of what you are supposed to do. So when you are at the Power Query, you will not see that transform button again because you are no longer in the Power BI. You are no longer on the desktop because you are in the kitchen. So it will just bring it in so that you start doing your transformation in the query editor. So these are the files that we actually clicked on, and you can see that it had brought in this file. This is an example of getting data from the web. So this is our data set. Once you are done working, remember the last stage of the ETL. The L there stands for load. That L there stands for load, which is where load that data set into the repository that you want to work with. For us now, what we intend to work with now is the Power BI desktop. I would load this data set. For you to load the data set, you will come on this icon, you will see close and apply. So once you hit that button, close and apply, it will take you out of the kitchen and straight into the Power BI desktop. It will load that data set into the desktop for you to start your visualization and build so that you are able to give insights into your data sets. It's actually loading the data. So this is the final stage where we load data. We'll just give it a few time. Okay. Now the interface we're seeing is our Power BI desktop. At this moment, once our data comes in, we would be able to start working with it. But you also need to get yourself familiarized with the desktop. At the desktop here, your data set will be showing on this side. These are few of visualization that we can use for our data sets. If you intend to get another data set, then you another visual, there's something we call at the marketplace. Once you click on these three dots here, the ellipse here, it takes you into the Microsoft Store to get other visuals that you can use. Wow, 2 queries are blocked by. Okay. Let me quickly go back. Once you're on the desktop and you intend to go back to the Power Query, all you need to do is.
No.
I'm trying not to bring in this other data set because I just copied it from from the web. No works with this. Let me just bring in the sales data. And just to show us how this works. I'm just bringing in the sales data so that we can see how it works. Okay. So our data set had been is now loaded or is loading. You could see that data set now. We're now in the Power BI desktop. We have left the kitchen, and right now we are now the Power BI desktop. So this is the data sets that we had. We had our amounts, the region, the salesperson, and the transaction dates. So we can start building the visuals from there. So that brings me to the end. We are not, our topic is how to perform ETL using the Power Query. So we have migrated from the Power Query to the Power BI desktop. But if you intend to build visuals, which is what you would definitely do, on this side of our Power BI, we have the reports view, the data view, and what we call the data model, the model view, yes, where you could model your data. What this simply means is if you're here, you could build your visualization. If you come back here, you'll be seeing that same data set that we have in our Power Query, but right now it will be on that. This is the same data set we have on the Power Query. We're seeing it here. Once you click, this is the data view. You want to take a look at that data. Peradventure, you have some one or two changes you intend to do, which may take you back to the query, or you just begin to work with it. Thank you so much. With that, I've come to the end of the class. So if you have a question on ETL with Power Query, please feel free to ask. Thank you. Ife?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you for that amazing session. Okay. So I see that we have questions already. So Bruno, yeah, you can unmute and ask your question. Okay, I see another hand. Okay, excellent. Bruno, please go ahead and ask your question, please.
Okay, hi, good evening. So this is Bruno. Well, thank you very much for the section. I have a question. So earlier today, I was working on Microsoft Fabric, and I tried getting data using with Power Query Editor from the web. But whenever and this is a Wikipedia that allows web scraping and the rest. So whenever I connected to Wikipedia, it's always said I should. Sorry, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm struggling to hear, but go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, please. What about now? It's better. Is it better, please?
Let's go ahead. I'll pick what you're trying to say.
Okay, so I said I was working on Microsoft Fabric earlier today using the Power Query Editor to get data. So I tried connecting to the web, to Wikipedia to be precise, and an error propped up came up, and I was like, I need an API to be able to get data from Wikipedia. And from data governance, Wikipedia is open source. They don't ban APIs or ban Power Query Editor or Microsoft software to get it. But however, I went to Power BI desktop and I tried the same thing. It worked. So I just wanted to know if it's probably an error from Microsoft Fabric, from the online service, from the Power BI service. Has the error is going to be more or less like a general thing.
Ma, did you get the question?
Oh, okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, I was saying that the Fabric is actually on the preview mode, so it's still, I wouldn't know why that's happened, but I'll try and find out. So I don't want to give a confusion, but I know it's on the preview mode, so it's still being worked upon. And I guess maybe in a few days or months, it will get better. But since you tried it on the desktop and it worked, there's also a Microsoft community that you can go online and then put that question or that observations, and you will get a response. Bruno, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, because it was weird to me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Juliet, please let's have your question.
Thank you so much. This is Juliet from South Africa. So thank you so much, ma'am. My question is on, can you throw more light on the pivot and the unpivot column? Thank you.
Ma, did you get the question on pivot and okay?
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted. I said when you pivot a column, you are trying to merge those columns into a smaller columns. That's what it is. So you can see that I picked about 4 columns together, and once you pivot them, it will bring them together and it will arrange them, in such a way that we have done at the moment. And when you
we can't hear you again, ma. Hello, ma. Are you still here with us, or it's the network? Please, can everybody hear me? Just to confirm. Please, can everybody hear me?
Yes,
sorry, I
yes.
think my network is acting. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can now. We can.
Oh, maybe let me change the network. Can you hear me?
We can hear you
Yes.
now, loud and clear.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, when you pivot a column, you are trying to rotate the rows, into columns, So you are just trying to reach what we're trying to do. But when you pivot the column, you are just doing the reverse of that. When you pivot a column, you are trying to rotate rows into columns. We had north, east, south, west, and we had figures with them. So we're trying to rotate that rows into columns. So we moved all the north, east, south, and west to be on one column, and we have the figures on the other. So that's what it is. And on pivot is just the opposite of that. This network is. I don't know if you can hear me or if you understand.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I believe your question is answered.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So before we move to the other question, so now I'm sending a link followed by a message in the chat box. So please, let's click on the link to give our feedback from today's session. We want to know how the sessions went, if there's any part that you want to be better, if there's a part you enjoyed. So let's do that now. I'll be sending the link to the chat room now. Okay, so while we are doing that, please, Daniela, please, let's have your question. Is Daniela still here?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
we can.
Okay, my question is actually to find out, like, if you have a data now that has like a marketing data. You're trying to, like, you want to measure maybe campaigns done, data for your PR and all that. How do you use Power Query, you know, in cleaning that kind of data for you to produce your visuals in Power BI?
Okay, Daniela, if I understand, you have a data on marketing. Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Yes.
And that data is stored electronically on your system or on the computer?
Yes, on my system.
Okay. It's saved as an Excel document, or how did you save it?
Yes, I have some Excel and I have some like in PowerPoint, PPT.
So that you can, all you need to do is once you have installed Power BI desktop on your system, and if you click on the get data, you will see from all of these sources where that your data falls in. Now, because we're just doing if you come to the flat files, this is what we call the file document. So you could see all of that. So you will see this when you have your data set. So if you have an Excel document, this is where you just click. So you just find out where that extension is, how that data set is stored, and just look for it here. Power BI will be able to make a connection with that data set. Do you understand that?
Okay, so you can, whatever type of data, that is PDF.
Whether it's PDF,
okay, if it's PPT, do you have to convert it to any of
go down? I think if you go down, it should be able to extract that for you, the data, what you have there. If you check all of this carefully, but you must understand that extension and just put it here. Power BI will be able to make, for now, at least over 200 sources of data sources. Power BI will be able to make a connection with that. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay, right. Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so let's have, I think this is our last question for today. So Rashid, please, let's have your question. Daniela, please, you can drop the answer. All right, so Rashid, let's have you, please.
Oh. Okay. I first of all, I transform the data in Oracle. I was using business intelligence in Oracle to transform, as in do the ETL stuff. So in Oracle, I don't know how the Power BI work and Microsoft work well, but I did it. It was the transformation, the option for sharing and publishing to other platforms like AWS or any other cloud vendors, and then all these popular vendors. It has all those features there where you can export your data to any other platform on the Oracle dashboard. So I just want to ask also, like, do they have just feature in Power BI? I mean, Power Query.
I didn't get that question. What did you say? You have your data in the Oracle.
For a while, I've been using business intelligence, Oracle Business Intelligence.
Okay.
To perform ETL.
Okay.
including the data modeling and all the relationship that is involved. So, but on the Oracle platform, you could, after performing after doing the ETL, you could export your data or to any other vendors, any other cloud vendors like
Cloud.
S3. Yeah,
Okay,
like
I think I
S3.
understand what you're trying to ask.
Yeah, and then
You are asking if
also,
you're asking if you are done working, is it possible for others to see your work? Is that what you're trying to ask?
in other platform.
In other platforms.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing we'll do is from the desktop, once you are done with the desktop, there's something also called the Power BI service. That Power BI service enables you to share your reports via the service. What it means that your team could collaborate with you on that data set. Assuming as Rashid, you have worked on the data set, you're on the sales team, but you want the people on the HR team or market or the other marketing or other teams to see, to work on that same data service. What we have in Power BI, we have Power BI desktop.
Okay.
We have Power BI mobile. We have Power BI your work with members of your team. So on the Power BI service, but you must, there's no free account. On the desktop, it is free. But if you have to sign for the service, you have to buy that. So there is that. So that enables other people in your team to see your work and also consume that work from that point of view. So even when you get to the Power BI service, you are also able to share or export that particular data into different data sources as you wish, but it's not going to be done on the service. It's going to be done on the, it's not going to be done on the desktop. It's going to be done on the service. If you see my cursor, where I'm actually hovering around here, I don't know if you can see. Am I still sharing my screen? Sorry, Rashid, can you see this?
Your screen is shared, but I can't see your, okay, I can see now, publish.
Are you seeing publish?
Yeah, publish.
So if I click on this publish now, he will ask me, do you want to save your changes? If I say yes, and all of that. So it quickly takes, I'll just give it a name. Let me say demo. So it will request for this.
Okay.
Do you understand? Then once I impute that, my email address. I hope I hope this is correct. I can't. Once you do that, once you have a paid, no, I've made a mistake. Oh, I don't like this account. But once it goes through, it takes you to the Power BI. Let me see, try and see if I can. Trying to see. Okay, Android. Now, Rashid, what we're looking at now, or what's trying to come up, is the Power BI service.
Oh, okay.
You see it.
So these services, you can integrate some of the services.
Yeah, so whatever thing that you have worked on and you intend to share, you could see share your feedback. So you could do all of that. Let me just see.
Okay.
So this is the Power BI service. I can share this. I can export this to my team.
Work pretty like Oracle.
I don't know if you can see
I can
this.
see everything.
Okay, so whatever you have worked on your desktop, once you click that publish and you have that license, you are able to export it, and others will begin to consume that work, assuming other people in your team have to work with from where you have stopped. So they will see what I should have done, this sale have increased and all of that, these are profits, and so they begin to do that. So it's possible, yes, you can export your work, but those people have to be in what we call your workspaces. So you need to create something in Power BI that we call workspaces. So you create a workspace for them and you share with them, and they will see it and consume your reports.
Reports, okay. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma. All right. Okay. I think this is our last question. So, Ibrahim, please ask your question.
Hey everyone, my name is Ibrahim Madam from Ghana, and I must say has been quite insightful. So my question is actually on the transformation side. So, Ma, could you share insights or like give some tips on how to know exactly where to clean, where to remove data, or if there are, okay, thanks for sharing some material to that. So just insight on how to do the transformation side. How do you get to know, okay, you have a large data set of, let's say, 8,000 rows. How do you know where to clean, what to remove, and all that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. Remember when we started, the first thing I said by Mark Twain, you must understand why you are collecting that data set. What exactly do you intend to perform? What insight do you intend to bring from that data set? So you must first of all look at that data set. Sometimes you have some data sets that there's no profit, like this Superstop sales performance that I have. What we have the sales, we have quantity, yes, maybe sales and quantity. So you need to know, you need to multiply your sales by your quantity. No, you have your cost price and you have the number that was sold, and you have what they call it now. You need to calculate your sales before you begin to talk about your profit, because you've been giving your cost price, and they tell you that maybe somebody sold about 20 naira pen and sold 5 of it, and the selling price is 50 naira. So of course we know that the person is making 30 naira each on that pen, but on that data set it is not there. So you taking a second look at that data set, you want to provide profits. So when you look at that data set, taking a look at it, that you begin to know what to do. From look at it, you find out, oh, this is not there. So how do I intend to calculate that? But you have to actually play around with all the what we call it, icons that we have there. You play around, sometimes you get stuck. The 80% of your work as a data analyst is in the cleaning process. If you have succeeded in your cleaning process, if you do a thorough job in your cleaning process, you wouldn't have problem doing the visuals and bringing out the insights from that data. So it's something you have to play around. There's no shortcut about it. I think you can watch videos on YouTube and all of that. If I have a link, I would also share so that we can look at it. But once you put whatever transformation, you can just put transformation in Power BI and you will see short videos that you could use to clean up your data sets. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I guess we've, answered all our questions for today. So yes, so while in the spirit of rounding off the session for today, let me quickly run us through our services here at Learntor. So yes, so registration for our Cohort 7 training has commenced. And if you've not registered for Learntor Cohort 7, you are on a long thing. And we'll be dealing with Agile Digital Transformation. So you want to learn all about Agile, Scrum, business analysis, project management, collaboration tools, all of that. That is what we have to offer at Cohort 7. So if you know you want to become a professional Scrum Master, or you want to start your journey to being a Scrum Master, Learntor is the right place to be. So you're going to get hands-on training from experts and, different trainers that will guide you into your journey to become a Scrum Master. Also, we have the data analytics track. You want to learn SQL, Python, Power BI, Tableau, Excel, all of that, all of those tools. Learntor is the right place to be. So you can connect with us on all social media platforms. I already sent a link. I sent a link to the chat room now to send a thank you message to Mrs. Gloria. From there, you can follow Learntor on LinkedIn, and you can even on your notifications so you'll be aware of when the training registration is probably going to close. And there will be a free training. There's a free training coming up to tell us all about Learntor Cohort 7. So if you're here and you've joined the waiting list for Cohort 7, a free training is coming up to answer all your questions about how classes are going to be, what you're going to learn from registering for the course. All of your questions is going to be answered during that training session. So stay tuned, because we'll be sending out updates soon. Follow us on our social media pages, connect with us, and then you stay right on track. So Learntor is here to help you achieve your tech goals, your tech dreams, and we'll be glad to have you on board. Okay, so if you want to connect with us, you can send a mail to our founder, Mercy@Learntor.ng, or you can check out our website, www.learntor.ng. So if you want to partner with us, you can send us a DM in our mail, or go to our website and send us a message. The goal is to develop Africa's tech talent, and we all have a role to play in doing that. So so we have come officially to the end of today's session. Thank you all for joining in. So please, once again, if you're still here, please let us go to that link and thank our facilitator for today. Today's session was awesome. Today's session was great. And I'm sure that we all got value for today's session. We all got value, no doubts. We all got value, no doubts. Click on the link and say, thank you, Gloria. Thank you for today's session. It was insightful. Now, this is the kind of session that you even pay to attend, but this is it coming to you on a platter of gold. So if you want to go back to the session, you can check us out on YouTube. Go to YouTube, check Learntor. So you have access to the recorded video on YouTube. So for those that have been asking before the session ended, I hope it's recorded. I hope it's recording. Go to our page on YouTube. Probably next week, you'll be able to access the training.
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me, please?
I can hear you. Please, I just want to ask for one thing. Please, if you can share the video with us again so that we can go through the section again. And perhaps if you can also share the slide to also be able to look at it.
So I know for the video, you will have access to the video on our YouTube channel. So just
Okay,
go
okay.
and check out Learntor. The recorded video is on YouTube. So about the slides, I don't know if Mrs. Gloria is willing to share a training slides with us. I don't know. But yeah, but you can access the training on YouTube. All of it is recorded. You can follow all the process and go through the training or the class one more time.
You didn't drop the YouTube yet.
Okay. Okay then. Let me drop the YouTube link also so we can check it out. Let's just hold up. Okay. That's just the last thing before we round off this session. Okay, so I just sent the YouTube link now. So please click on the link now ASAP or copy the link now before we end the session. So thank you so much, Mrs. Gloria. Thank you so much for doing this with us today. We sure had fun and we had a lot to learn also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I guess on that note, we've come to the end of tonight's session. So watch out for the next episode of the Data Analytics Challenge next month. We're going to be talking about Power BI. So watch out for the link. So please check our LinkedIn profile, Learntor, for the link to register for cohort 7. It's there on our page. Please check out our page on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere on social media. You see the link to register for cohort 7. Thank you once again for joining. Let's do well to enjoy the rest of our day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.